Hurricane Melissa will forever be marked in Jamaican history and throughout the Caribbean region as one of the fiercest weather events ever recorded. From its formation, meteorologists around the world kept a close watch on every movement of this storm. What began as a simple tropical disturbance quickly intensified in a frightening way, fueled by the warm waters of the Atlantic and the perfect atmospheric conditions for the formation of major hurricanes. Melissa rapidly reached the maximum level of the Saffir-Simpson scale, becoming a dreaded Category 5 hurricane. As forecasts became reality, local authorities began a true race against time. Alerts were broadcast on all media, evacuation plans were drawn up, and entire communities began preparing for the worst possible scenario. Schools, churches, gyms, and sports centers turned into makeshift shelters. Volunteer teams organized themselves to distribute food kits, clothing, medicine, and supplies. Solidarity and collectiveness again proved to be fundamental aspects of Jamaican identity. The day the hurricane hit Jamaica's shores will remain forever in the memory of the population. What was witnessed was the raw force of nature, acting relentlessly. Roofs ripped off in seconds, cars dragged by the wind as if they were toys, entire walls collapsing under relentless gusts that exceeded 220 miles per hour. The noise was deafening, mixing the constant sound of strong wind, thunder, heavy rain, breaking trees, and the snapping electrical wires brought down by poles broken by the hurricane's destructive force. The rain, abundant and continuous, transformed the landscape within hours. Dry and quiet regions saw rivers overflow beyond all expectations. Entire communities disappeared underwater, and bridges, vital for district connections, became invisible, swallowed up by the unexpectedly rising waters. The torrent brought mud, trash, and all sorts of debris, creating new dangers for the population. Landslides threatened houses built on slopes, fast currents dragged away everything in their path, and the chances of collapse increased every minute. The human impact was immense. Entire families had to leave their homes in a hurry, taking only the essentials. Emotional stories of overcoming and rescue soon emerged. Children saved by fearless neighbors, elderly people guided by volunteer teams, pets rescued amid the chaos. Jamaican culture, known for its music and contagious joy, was put to the test by facing an unprecedented tragedy. Kingston was spared from the worst winds, but concern remained high. As even more than 100 miles from the hurricane's center, it felt considerable effects. Several neighborhoods were left in the dark, streets flooded rapidly, and the sirens of rescue teams echoed all night long. But for places like St. Elizabeth, Portland, Hanover, and rural areas, the reports were even more alarming. Destroyed houses, devastated crops, people isolated waiting for help. Montego Bay, one of Jamaica's best-known postcards, had parts of its tourist infrastructure affected, with hotels, restaurants, and small souvenir shops closed or completely destroyed. After the storm, the greatest challenges began. About 5% of the population remained without electricity for days, compromising the operation of hospitals, health centers, schools, and supermarkets. The supply of drinking water became dependent on emergency generators, as pump stations were not operating due to the lack of electricity. The government, aware of the difficulties, sent technical teams to assess the damage, clear roads, restore power, and ensure that basic supplies reached families in the greatest need. Agriculture was one of the most affected sectors. Large plantations of sugarcane, bananas, mangoes, and corn, the backbone of Jamaica's rural economy, were destroyed. Thousands of animals drowned, barns and stables collapsed, farm machinery was submerged and rendered useless. Small producers who depend on crops for survival mourned the loss of months or even years of work. For many, hope for a fresh start will only come with humanitarian aid and special agricultural recovery programs. Tourism, which moves millions of dollars every year and guarantees thousands of direct and indirect jobs, was temporarily interrupted. Flights were cancelled, resorts closed their doors, and visitors, frightened by the power of nature, decided to postpone or cancel their trips to the island. The impact on public revenues and jobs will be felt for a long time, requiring strategic planning to attract tourists again and restore international confidence. There was no shortage of reports of courage and resilience. On national TV, community leaders, artists, athletes, and influencers joined in awareness campaigns, encouraging Jamaicans to follow government instructions, avoid risk areas, and help those in need. Social mobilization was intense. Donations of clothes, food, and medicine arrived from many parts of the world. NGOs provided psychological support, and temporary shelters were set up for homeless families. Alongside the material losses, the emotional impact was enormous. Many Jamaicans described trauma, sleepless nights, and fear of facing new storms. Psychologists and social workers highlighted the need to care not just for physical infrastructure, but especially for the mental health of those who lost family members, property, or their livelihoods. The government announced support programs, free helplines, and educational campaigns to strengthen resilience in future emergencies. Climate experts affirmed that extreme events like Hurricane Melissa should be seen as a warning. Climate change is making storms more frequent and intense, requiring adaptation in public policy, investment in resilient infrastructure, and ongoing public education. The tragedy reignited debate about the importance of protecting mangrove areas, natural slopes, and investing in the construction of safe homes capable of withstanding hurricanes and floods. Little by little, life in Jamaica begins to return to normal. Reconstruction demands courage, time, and resources, but also creates opportunities for innovation and strengthening community ties. Families start cleaning up debris, planting what's left, exchanging ideas about safer ways to rebuild homes. The government promises to accelerate resource allocation, support small farmers, subsidize credit lines for micro-entrepreneurs, and invest in sustainable tourism, valuing the local culture and preserving the environment. Hurricane Melissa showed the world how vulnerable we are in the face of nature's force, but also the immense human power of collaboration and resilience. The lesson is clear. Prevention is the best way to avoid tragedy, and no effort is too small when it comes to saving lives and rebuilding dreams. If you were moved by this story, help spread the word. Share this video. Leave your comments on how Jamaica can learn from this tragedy. Tell us if you've experienced something similar. And stay tuned for new content with inspiring stories of overcoming, solidarity, and rebuilding. Together we can learn, reflect, and build a safer and more resilient future for all. And remember, the strength of a people is revealed in moments of greatest difficulty. Melissa was devastating, but it will never be greater than the courage of Jamaicans to rebuild, take care of each other, and move forward, no matter what storms the future may bring.